This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, how are you? Spiritual medium psychic Ashley Smarowsky. So we're going to do 2025 psychic predictions. Now, I'm really excited to do this. Every single year I sit down with my spirit team and I write down my predictions for the coming year. But this is the first time in all of my years of doing this that I've actually decided to sit down and share my predictions with you. So I'm really excited about this and I hope that you guys are too. Before we dive into it, and I'm going to try to make this all as quick as I possibly can. I know none of us have the attention span to sit through super long videos anymore. So I'm going to do my best, but there are a couple things that I want to mention before we get into it. So if you've never seen me before, hi, welcome. My name is Ashley Smarowsky. I'm a spiritual medium psychic. Follow me, subscribe to me, whatever platform you're seeing this on. But let me know that you're here, as well as in the comments. Also, when we're talking about predictions, everything is open to interpretation. And when we interpret something, it comes through our own experiences and our own bias. Now, as a professional psychic medium, it is my job to remove my own personal bias from my predictions. And so these are not to say that I lean one way or the other, that I have, that I hope that one thing works out or one doesn't. This is truly removing all bias from my predictions and letting you know exactly what my spirit team is showing me. None of this is meant to spread fear. Even when I'm doing psychic readings and some hard truths come through, it's never meant to invoke fear. What it is more so geared to do is to prep you. I want you to remember that you are a soul first. You are a soul having a human existence, and your soul came here knowing that it was going to experience certain things, knowing that it was going to have to go through certain things, because the soul comes to the earth to learn, to experience duality, to experience hardships that are completely impossible in the spiritual world, because the spiritual world is unconditional love. And so we come here to evolve. And so when we're talking about things today, and I really want you to make sure that you're processing things, you're taking it all in a way that feels right to you, and you're not allowing fear to take over. You're not allowing even your own biases to take over, that you're really just being receptive, resonate with what you resonate with. If you don't resonate with certain things, that's okay. We're all on our own unique journeys. But what we're going to talk about today is both a collective reading, like what I'm seeing, as a whole, and then also what I'm seeing for the collective on more of a personal, more individual level. So we're going to be going over a lot in a very short period of time. And the things that I talk about today, they're really in no particular order. It's just the way that I've kind of wrote everything down over the past few weeks or so of really sitting with my guides. So the year of 2025 is the year of the snake, which means it's a year of shedding. It's a year of shedding. We're shedding, we're letting go of the systems, the thought patterns, the behaviors. We're letting go of everything that just doesn't serve us. 2024 was really a year to show us our strength. It kind of broke us down while simultaneously showing us how strong and capable we really are. And this is the year of change. This is the year that you're really going to see certain things completely crumble and new things beginning to take their place. So this is the year that I'm kind of referring to as like it's the storm before the sun. So this is the year where it's going to be very uncomfortable, both globally, universally, but also individually. It's going to be very uncomfortable in a lot of different ways. But remember that your reality is based off of your perceptions, okay? So while a lot of the changes that are taking place, you have no control over, but what you do have control over is how you're perceiving these things, how you're handling these things, how you're reacting to these things, how you're learning from these things, right? And so kind of think of these things as a way to evolve, as a way to face your fears, as a way to recognize your triggers, and even more so, how to overcome those and actually start to show up for yourself in a way that feels right to you, how to take control of the inner narrative. That's going to be a big one that we talk about, okay? But what I really see is like this year being the hard year, and then 2026 to 2028, truly the energy around it feels like the golden years. Like it is, I'm not saying it's perfect, life is never perfect, but it is really, we are all experience so much abundance. There's a mass awakening that's happening this year. And so we're going to see a lot of people stepping into their spirituality, a lot of people stepping into their power. And I think there's also going to be a huge a huge focus on community. And so we're going to see a big shift, again, both on a grand scheme and a smaller personal way, but we're going to see more of us sort of returning to our roots, if that's how we want to put it, returning to our roots with new foundations also being put in place. So let's dive into this. Let's really talk about it. And in the comments, let me know if you've also felt some of these similar predictions or if you have some predictions of your own. I do have to be careful of the way that I word some things just because social media, I don't want anything get, taken down or flagged or anything like that. So there will be some things that I'm just really cautious of the way I word things. But again, use discernment. Okay, use your own intuition here. So this year, again, taking accountability is going to be so big. It's really going to be front and center. And we're going to see that in a big way. We're going to see that when it comes to our government. There's going to be a lot of truths that are being told. There's going to be a lot of things that were kind of buried beneath the surface that start to come out that we all begin to become very hyper aware of. Now, this is going to be sort of fed to us in small increments, but if you are not already a bit awaken, it might feel like a lot of information. Whereas some of us who are maybe a little bit more awakened have kind of already suspected or known these truths. They're just now being made public to the masses. But again, I think it's really going to come out in little increments, but it's going to be one right after the other. So what I'm seeing as far as our government is concerned, and I'm mostly focused on the US because that's where I'm located, but there are a couple things that I do see more globally that I'll mention as well. But for right now, just kind of talking about the US government, what I'm seeing is mass government official layoffs starting this month, starting in February. I'm also seeing a lot of banking issues over the course of this year. We might experience things like hacking, lockdowns, bank, account freezes, things like that. So be smart with your money. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have cash on hand. I'm not, and again, none of this is meant to invoke fear. One thing that I do want to kind of pause and preface real quick is a lot of the hardships, a lot of the like, oh my goodness moments this year, they are a big shock to the system, but they all feel very short lived. Okay. Like I'm talking like hours, days, like very short lived. And then it's like, this year almost feels like a reboot. Like that's the energy I'm getting for this year. It's like we're going to see systems go down and then we're going to see systems come up. And it's going to be very quick. It's going to be very, very quick, almost to where like if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't even notice it. But there's going to be immediate changes that follow those reboots. Okay. So going back into this, I'm also seeing a lot of tech blackouts. Like I'm seeing systems go down, travel systems go down, websites go down, just a lot of the fall before the rise is really what I'm getting. Okay. This will also be true when it comes to your home internet, when it comes to social media. We're going to see glitches. We're going to see things going down and then coming back up. I'm also seeing a lot, especially here in the US again, I'm seeing a lot of blackouts and power outages. Now, these don't feel like, oh, we're going to experience 3 days of darkness. I'm not getting that. This actually, again, feels like one of those things where we're going to see it in more smaller increments. So, but I think we're going to see a lot of it this year. A lot of, this city has a blackout. Now this city's experienced power outages and that, we're going to see a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of changes that take place when it comes to our energy field. Okay, a lot of changes, So, anything that really has to do with electricity, anything that has to do with our tech, we're gonna see glitches. We're gonna see glitches, but then again, it's gonna come back up. I'm also seeing that we're going to receive some sort of new type of media outlet, and I feel like this is going to be more focused around independent journalism. I feel like that's really about to like pick back up, and we're gonna kind of step away from the bigger media outlets who are all kind of reporting the same thing, right? They're just kind of regurgitating the same information. We're going to start to really step away from that, and we're going to see a rise again in independent journalism. And I think that's going to be absolutely beautiful. And I think we're going to see, again, most of that online because of the day and age that we live in. I'm also, and this is something that I'm actually feeling pretty excited about, and I don't exactly know how this is going to manifest, but I'm seeing a new type of currency is developed. There's some sort of, I don't know if it's isolated to the US or if this is going to be more of a global thing. It kind of, to me, feels like it may come from somewhere in Europe, um, but will have a direct impact on US currency. So I'm seeing some type of new currency is being created. Okay, and again, the rest of these in no particular order. I'm just going to kind of go down the list here and try to get them out as quickly as I can. So as far as weather is concerned, I'm seeing for Japan and Alaska specifically, um, there's going to be a lot of disruption. Japan feels very much connected to water, so I don't know if that could be tsunamis or something like that. But Japan, I'm definitely seeing natural disasters relating to water. Alaska, I'm Alaska, I keep being shown like some sort of earthquake and volcano activity, but I'm taking into the waters. So this could be a volcano that is kind of like beneath the ocean, but there's some sort of volcanic eruption that I'm getting for Alaska. We are going to see a lot of earthquakes this year globally. We're going to see a lot of earthquakes. There's going to be a lot of shifts. Again, energy is changing for the year, not only like the energy that we use for our electricity, but the energy field that we exist in. Okay. So we're going to see a lot of earthquakes as well. And I do feel that unfortunately, because they were just hit this year, I'm seeing a lot of landscape changes for Tennessee, and I'm really being drawn to mudslides. So, what causes the mudslides? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm seeing a lot of mudslides and like changing the landscape of Tennessee in some pretty big ways, and a lot of communities are being affected. I do feel like there is going to be a better outreach this go around. I do feel like there's going to be a better response time and aid for those who are being affected. But nonetheless, that's what I'm really seeing for Tennessee. And I'm also seeing a lot of disruptions in our ocean and a lot of disruptions with our aquatic life. So I've been getting this sense, and I've been getting this for quite a long time, where the ocean animals, the aquatic animals, are actually trying to warn us to stay out of the ocean because it's unsafe right now. Um, I feel like there's, again, going to be a lot of, it kind of feels like the ocean floor is really going to be like just changing, a lot of dynamics going on. It feels very, very bumpy. And so what causes that, I'm not sure, but I really do not feel like it is safe to be in the ocean this year. That we are being warned from nature, hey, stay out. I feel like there's some big shifts going on there, okay? And let's be honest, the animals that exist in the ocean, I think they're a lot more intelligent than we give them credit for. And we all communicate, nature, animals, humans, we all have a way of communicating. And so pay attention to how the aquatic life is behaving. It'll say a lot this year. Okay. I'm also seeing some civil uproar coming in very, very soon. Today is February 7th, and I'm feeling like around February 20th, we're going to see some sort of civil uproar. I do feel like the majority of this is going to be online. I'm seeing a lot of protests and revolutions and stuff, but more so done online. I do feel that we're going to see some of this in the major cities like DC, but I feel like the majority of it is really going to be people coming together collectively to speak, to say to share their opinions, to use their voice in a more of an online presence in some way. But I do feel like that's going to be somewhere right around February 20th. And we're already kind of seeing that a little bit, but I feel like it's really going to come to a head around the 20th of February. Some other things that I'm seeing, good news, I do see a boost in the housing market, and I feel like that's going to come in probably around October. We're going to start to see where it's becoming a little bit easier for those of us who want to buy homes. But if you're really wanting to buy a home, October would be a good time. but I feel like 2026 is going to be even better. When you get to about May of 2026, I feel like that's really when we're going to see um, some real good things happening when it comes to real estate. Some other things that I'm seeing, and again, no rhyme or reason to the order of anything here. I do feel like there is going to be I do feel like the U.S. is going to be involved in war this year, but it feels very short-lived, extremely short-lived. Um, I'm also feeling like there will be some type of war for the UK, but I don't necessarily think that the UK and the US are going to be at war with one another. I don't know if these are going to be separate things or if they're going to kind of be connected in one way or another, but I don't actually think like we're fighting them or they're fighting us. But I'm seeing it for both. But for the US specifically, I keep feeling it a lot on the oceans. Again, taking us back to water. Um, I keep feeling it in like in the oceans, like war at sea is kind of what I'm getting. And again, very short lived. I also, again, going to water. Now, there is a lot of focus on water in a lot of different ways this year. So if you're not really familiar with astrology, just know that there's a lot of emphasis uh, around Pisces this year. And so a lot of emphasis on water. So with that being said, I'm also seeing a lot of focus on our water systems, where we get our water from, how we accept imports and exports, and how all of that kind of flows in and out of our country. I'm also seeing again, I think there's going to be mass changes happening to the flow of our water systems. There's going to be some sort of change to the like a significant ocean current. But again, just what I'm getting. I don't know exactly how these things are going to manifest, but I am seeing that. So pay attention to the water. It may not hurt to also have clean, drinkable water on hand. Because I do see, especially in like major cities where they're going to notice how tainted the water systems are. And I feel like there's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be shut down. I don't know if it's just going to come out of how unhealthy they are. I don't know, but I do keep being told like have healthy drinking water on hand. Another thing that I'm getting, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is I feel like there's going to be a huge return to our roots. Like I kept hearing from my guides, return to ancestral roots and simplicity. And so this feels like we're really going to be focused on getting back to basics in a way. And I think we've been seeing some of that really taking place since 2020 when everything was going on in 2020. But I feel like we're really going to see more of a collective shift towards getting back to our roots and creating more simple lives. And, we live in a time now where we have access to more information than we can process. We were not designed to know what was going on globally every minute of every day. We weren't meant to have access to all of that. And so I feel like this year, we're really going to be focused more on community. We're really going to be focused more on taking charge of the inner narrative and being intentional with where we're getting our news from, with who we're choosing to listen to, with even how we live our day-to-day lives. Like I feel like there's also going to be a change in the workplace system. I wouldn't be surprised if the typical work day or the typical work week ends up changing to 4 days a week rather than 5 days a week. With kind of going along with that, I'm also seeing, like I said, more focus on a sense of community. Like I see people getting back out there. I see people connecting with their neighbors again. I see people, going to like dances and festivals and just everyone really connecting. I also feel like there's going to be an education reform announced around September to November of this year. And these changes are ultimately going to lead to kids and to families having more free time, having more time to actually live life, and not have to work 80 hours a week just to barely keep a roof over their heads. I'm seeing a lot of changes in that area. Now, the education reform, for a lot of people, I think this is going to be very scary because a lot of people are not going to understand what exactly is taking place. But the feeling that my guides keep giving me is, again, we're getting the kids back to basics and we're taking the power out of the government's hands. Does that make sense? So yes, they will of course still have a say in it, but it's not going to be everything's being dictated by, those in DC. It'll be, okay, Pennsylvania's focused on Pennsylvania. Okay, Arkansas is focused on Arkansas. California's California. It'll be everyone kind of eat everyone for their own is really what I'm getting. And I feel like that will really have a positive impact on the families in those areas. Some other things that I'm getting. Let me see here. Which one do I want to start with? Oh, there's going to be some, and we've already been told this, right? The media has already said this, but we're going to see some major changes to the U.S. agriculture. And while we don't exactly know all the plans yet, the energy around this is incredibly positive. I see a lot more focus on US farmers. I see a lot more assistance in making sure that they're able to grow and to sell, and to have healthier foods, no pesticides, no extras. It's the meat is raised in a really healthy way. The vegetables are grown, the fruit is grown all pesticides free. It just feels like we're really getting back to limiting the toxins that are going into our bodies. And I feel like it's actually going to be some really good changes for farmers, as far as their wallets are concerned. Let's see. Some other things that I'm seeing. I'm seeing major changes to health insurance coming September to October timeframe. I think there's going to be a lot of different changes that take place there. I'm also seeing that there's going to be new cancer treatment revelations. And this feels really exciting. This feels like something that has kind of already been available, but for one reason or another has not really been looked into, has sort of been ignored. And I think this goes into big pharma. And I think we're going to start to see a crumble of big pharma and a lot of big changes there as well. But I am definitely seeing more. It feels like whatever this cancer treatment is, it feels like it's more holistic. And I keep really hearing something about the metals and toxins within the body. So however that plays out, I'm not sure, but I do see that coming this year. And overall, just a more holistic healing for mainstream healthcare. I feel like we're going to see more holistic opportunities being offered in hospitals, and doctors' offices, and we won't have to go to a doctor outside of our insurance to try to get more of a natural, healthier approach. This will all be kind of incorporated into the mainstream healthcare system. What else are we seeing? So again, this is going to be a year of big change. Don't let anything fear you. Change is good. Change can be very uncomfortable, but it leads to good things. I am seeing more focus on the travel to Mars. I'm also seeing major breakthroughs when it comes to AI technology. And AI technology, we're really going to have to use our due diligence here, because some of it is going to be very beneficial, but we're also intermittently going to be fed a lot of false truths, if you want to call it that, around AI. And so you're really going to have to kind of be able to think for yourself, and is this real, or do I feel like this is just something being fed to me? Because there are going to be major breakthroughs that I feel are going to really benefit us as a collective. But there's also going to be some things that come out that it's not true. It's not true. It does feel like there's going to be some fear mongering tactics that are done when it comes to AI and when it comes to technology. But I'm more so getting energy around positive breakthroughs. Okay, and speaking of truths being revealed, major Hollywood truths are being revealed. Now, I've been saying for the past probably 6 or 7 years that we were going to see a downfall of Hollywood, of our healthcare system, and of our education system. And we're starting to see that. And most of us know what's going on in Hollywood right now, but it's really going to start to come out, especially between April and May. I think there are going to be some big, big, big truths that are revealed to the public. And we're going to start to see some big changes there. You might be surprised with some of the names that are shared. Let's see some other things that I'm seeing. I did a post this morning on my Facebook page saying that I learned something today that really prompted me to prioritize making this video today. And that was a train accident in mid-February, and I saw fires. So if you didn't hear about it, there was a train traveling from, I think it was Philadelphia to Delaware, I believe, on in the early morning hours that burst into flames. It had 350 passengers on it. Thank God nobody was injured. But I kept seeing train accident with fire for mid-February, and here we are. Little bit earlier than what I was feeling, but pretty close. And so that is one prediction that I had written down that had already come into fruition. So I was like, let me sit down and get this out before any more comes out. But I'm also kind of going along with that. I do feel like, and I mentioned this earlier, I think there's going to be a lot of tech issues when it comes to travel. I think we're just going to see a lot of disruptions when it comes to travel. I do see a lot of social media changes and announcements coming in March. I feel like there's just going to be there's going to be changes. There's going to be changes. I think that's the only way for me to put it. And I think the changes that are made, the announcements leading up to it are going to feel like a much bigger deal than what it actually is. So think about how the whole TikTok thing happened, right? Everyone was, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's going to end. And then it was down for less than 24 hours and it was back up. I'm sort of getting similar energy around this. And really just kind of to wrap it up, because I did get some other things, but these are the big things. And again, trying to kind of get through them as quickly as I can here. But for 2025, we're going to see a lot of collaborations of old systems and new systems. And we're going to see that on a grand scale, such as things like with the government and with how we operate with other countries, sort of getting back to our roots, while also incorporating new policies, new approaches, things like that. But we're going to see that on a much smaller and more personal scale as well, especially when it comes to our sense of community and how we live our day-to-day lives. We're going to be getting back to our roots while also incorporating, new things, because we're wiser, we've learned more, we have better technology. It's like we're going to start meshing the two. It doesn't have to be, oh, we live in the future, we forget about the past. We need to have a healthy balance. And you're really being called this year to take accountability. So this year is really going to mirror a lot of things on an individual level. Okay. This year is going to be the year where you're going to be triggered left and right. You're going to be faced with information that you really have to decide for yourself. Is this truthful? Is this deceptive? Is this something that I need to worry about? Is this something I need to prepare for? Or is this something I can just kind of let go and say, not my circus, not my monkeys? And that's going to be, again, on a grand scale, like when it comes to the world, when it comes to the US, but it's also when it comes to your individual relationships, when it comes to your family. You're really going to be forced to kind of look at your triggers and recognize what is creating emotional responses in you. And you're going to be held accountable. Well, you're going to be asked to hold yourself accountable, to learn from these experiences, to be intentional with how you perceive and how you react to these experiences, to take the time to actually learn, to take control of your inner narrative, to decide, this makes me uncomfortable. This is something I don't feel I need to sit and watch or listen to. So you turn it off and you choose to go outside and connect with the earth. We're taking control of our lives again. And if you are one of those people who are just getting into your awakening, buckle up, buttercup, because it's going to be a doozy of a year. But remember, it's like the rise of the phoenix. Everything has to crumble before a new way can emerge. So you also, a past version of you also has to crumble before a new version of you can emerge. But you are in control. These changes for you on a personal level are not just going to happen. You're going to be presented with opportunities to learn. You're going to be presented with opportunities to rise above it. You're going to be presented with opportunities to change your life and to take charge. But the universe can only provide you with opportunities. What you choose to do with that or not do with that is completely up to you. Completely up to you. But we are all in it together in our own individual ways, but we are all in it together. So do not let 2025 be a year where you sit around crying because you're fearful of the unknown. If you feel like you need to prepare for something, prepare for it. But don't do it out of fear. Know that your soul came here to experience exactly what it's going to experience. And you're strong. You're smart. You're capable. And you've got spirit behind you. You got universe behind you. You just got to be ready to take charge of your own life. But remember, and those of you who follow me hear me say this a lot, okay? We're all energetically connected. So what you do in your own individual life will ripple out and affect those around you. And that's how we experience mass change. If you want to experience mass change, you have to be the change you wish to see. If you want to see mass change in your life, you have to be the change you wish to see. Whatever your changes are. Maybe you just want healthier relationships. Maybe you want a different work ethic or different work opportunities. Maybe you want to see bigger change on a global scale. Whatever it is, it starts with you. And it starts with your neighbor. And it starts with their neighbor. And little by little, all those ripples spread out. And because we're all connected, we start to see the mass change. But that is basically the overall of what I'm getting for 2025. Again, it's the storm for the sun. So 2025 is a year of change. It's a year of shedding. But it's going to lead us into the golden years. I'm telling you, 2026, 2027, 2028, beautiful, beautiful energies. Truly beautiful energies. So be ready this year, buckle up, but don't let the hardships that we may experience, don't let the changes that we may experience cause you to be fearful. There's no reason to be fearful. No reason to be fearful. Sometimes we need a good shake so that we can find our alignment again. And that's what this year is doing. It's shedding everything that we've outgrown. It's giving us an opportunity to face our fears, to face our triggers, to take control of our own lives again, to come together as a whole, to focus more on the energies that we want and less on fear. We want to focus more on love, community, understanding, abundance. We want to focus on those things and less on the energies that we've been focused on for the past couple of years. It's time to take our power back. And that's what we're doing individually, as a country, and as a world. We're going to see a beautiful, beautiful change. It's just going to be a little bumpy to get there. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. Share it if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you so much. Let me know that you made it till the end. I tried to make it as quickly as I could. And again, if you've never seen me before, be sure to give me a follow. And you can click the link in my bio to subscribe to my email list. I don't bombard you with emails, but it is a great way to stay in touch. And I do a monthly giveaway where I give away a free reading to someone random who is subscribed to my email list. So if you want to subscribe, it's totally free. I'd love to have you. But 2025 is going to be a big year. So get ready. It's going to be hard, might be a little scary, but remember, it's about what you choose to put your time, energy, and focus into. That's what creates your reality. So choose love, choose faith, choose patience, choose you, and just see what happens.